Well, we are live, pals. Welcome to another edition of the Counted Out Watch Along series. I am Tyler. I am joined once again, back by popular demand, by the one and only Blake. Blake, how are you, buddy?
I am so excited to watch two guys who have absolutely no ring psychology have a spot fest.
Oh, boy. Blake is coming in hot today. For those of you watching right now, we are watching Kevin Steen versus Tyler Black. It appears to be from 2010 Salvation feud. It looks like this might be for the Ring of Honor World title. I don't know. I've never watched this match before.
Kevin Steen's rocking a unitard, probably rolling around 250, 260 with a nice barrel. No actual ring psychology in any of his moves. Then you got Tyler Black here, who looks the exact same as he looks today. So let's go.
Yeah. This is for the Ring of Honor World title. So, Blake, I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark here. You are not a fan of either one of these guys.
I want to say this. I do like Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens. I like this version of that character. He hasn't really adapted all that much over the years. This is kind of what indie wrestling was at the time, right? Like, let's think back. We're talking Generico, Daniels, all of those guys that eventually ended up in WWE. Unfortunately, there's not much to this. So let's see if we maybe dig some meat off this bone, Skins.
All right, man. So who do you want to talk about first here? Because I want to hear your take on both these guys. I think we both have a different take on both these guys. So who do you want to dive into first?
Let's go Steen, because obviously he's the draw right now. Well, I guess Black's the draw, but Steen's the up-and-coming guy who's supposed to make a big impact in this match. Big fucking slap to the face.
Yeah.
And we're starting hot, right? Slap to the face. Let's talk about no collar and elbow tie-up. This is a fucking grudge match.
That's what we threw back to. It's what we threw. We talked about in the Jericho Omega one that we did a couple weeks ago, Blake. Okay. I'm going to give a little bit of backstory here just for people that are watching. And I'm not too sure about where your Ring of Honor knowledge is as well. Kevin Steen and El Generico had a hell of a tag team program with Tyler Black and Jimmy Jacobs at the Age of the Fall. So these guys have an established rivalry. So we do talk about psychology a lot, you and I, Blake. And I like the start of this match. They're fighting. They have a born rivalry already. I don't know where we are storyline-wise right now. I know we're a couple months away from Tyler Black joining the WWE, but I don't have any content for what their rivalry is right now at this moment.
I remember specifically watching Steen on Fox like at 10 a.m. on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Right around this era. And what I remember the most vividly was a guy who was just rehashing very popular wrestlers' promos, catchphrases, attitudes, moveset. And something tells me, Skins, that throughout this match, we are going to see a lot of high spots from Mr. Steen that contain a lot of very established wrestlers' signature moves.
Okay, so, and I guess you can see that in his present day work too. I know he's adapted the Stone Cold Stunner in his repertoire.
Oh, don't even get me started on that, Skins. How does the Stunner not a finish? How is that not a finish? It's an automatic finish.
I get it, but I kind of like that it's not a finish for him because it should only be a finish for Steve Austin. That just means that he cannot apply that move as effectively as Steve Austin did it. I think it gives a little more credibility.
No, there's no credibility to it. The Stone Cold Stunner is an absolute lights out fight ending maneuver. I don't care who's applying it.
No, I agree. The Stone Cold Stunner is a lights out move. And when Stone Cold Steve Austin hits that on you, every time you're done. But when John Cena hits it or Kevin Owens hits it, they don't have that fucking Stone Cold to it. It is just a stunner.
Here we go. Finishing move by Kevin Owens. Nope. Oh, over the top. Hit the floor. Oh, lands on his feet somehow.
He's pretty agile for a big man. I know you're not a big fan.
So no. I think you're disregarding the fact. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
we're 5 minutes into the match, we've already got an apron power bomb by Kevin Owens. This should be lights out. This should be over. Why is he not rolling him into the ring? No ring psychology whatsoever.
Well, maybe he's playing the cocky heel bastard. He's soaking up the cheers here, right?
Is he the heel, though?
He is the heel. I'm pretty sure he's the heel at this point.
Well,
I do think that Seth Rollins, Tyler Black was starting to get a little bit of John Cena treatment from the Ring of Honor faithful at this point.
Well, let's talk about that. Like, in terms of psychology, is there an established heel and babyface in this match, or are both of the guys kind of cool heels?
I think I'm not 100% on this, Blake, but I'm pretty confident that Kevin Owens Steen is the heel in this match. And I do know that Tyler Black was a babyface at this point.
And as their careers have progressed, have either guy established themselves as a heel or babyface over the last, 2010? So in the last decade, I can't tell you definitively whether either guy is a big-time heel or a big-time babyface. They are just nothing.
So is that a credit to them or to bad booking?
I think it's a credit to. I think it's a slight on both guys for not being able to establish themselves as anything. They just want to be a part of the show.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna take a different spin on this. I think that both these guys do excellent work as heels. I thought that Seth Rollins had a great babyface run when he was the IC champ, and I think they booked him like a piece of shit when they put the belt on him at WrestleMania. You immediately put him as Becky Lynch's little bitch boy on, you know what I mean? I think that hurt him a lot. I think he could have had a pretty effective babyface run if they booked him better.
I will say this, Skins, when he was the undersized heel champion, when he first got the belt, 31, I believe. That's the best I've ever seen him. Like it was the most believable version of Tyler Black, Seth Rollins that there has been, in my opinion.
They had some great stuff going there. They had J&J security. They had Kane having his back. He was part of the Authority.
Couple heaters.
He was a great heel babyface. A great heel champion, a heel babyface. Holy, how much Crown Royal am I drinking tonight, buddy?
Yeah, well, no, it's okay because we're looking at two heel babyfaces going head-to-head right now for the Ring of Honor World Championship. So if what you're saying is accurate, and I'm not going to be the biggest mark for ROH, if Steen's the babyface in this match, he's doing a dog shit job of being the babyface in this match. He's not avoiding any of the conflict and unfortunately Tyler Black hasn't really done anything offside to be
No, you got it flipped. Steen's the heel.
Oh, is he? Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, Steen's the heel.
You don't see too many heels doing backflip spots, but that's
because Steen's the heel here. Steen's the heel here.
You sure? Because he just did a springboard suit fucking. This is not heel work that we're watching here. I just saw a backflip followed by a springboard by the heel.
Well, he caught him in midair, right? Like Seth's the babyface here, but I don't like this. Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying here. The Swanton Bomb is not very heel-like.
Not at all.
I get it. Let's talk about Steen a little bit here then. What do you prefer him as? Do you like Steen at all? Do you prefer him as a heel, a babyface? Do you think he does better in a role? Is it his in-ring work you're not a fan of? Is it what is it about Steen that you're not a fan of?
I think it's the treading on the borderline of heel and baby. Like I get that his heel work in WWE was pretty pronounced, you know. I'm not denying that. I think his heel work after this program in Ring of Honor was very pronounced. He was a fucking nasty heel. But he wasn't a nasty heel in the sense that he was like doing stuff that heels would do. He was trying to be a cool heel.
Yeah, I was going to say that was the point I was going to bring up. I could see that.
And I'm sick. Like and Skins, let's be honest. This might be the beginning of indie wrestling going the cool heel route. Like I think Steen might be the first guy who tried to tread that fucking razor's edge of being the cool heel, and then every guy after him kind of followed the lead.
You know what? You just said it. You just said a word there. Razor's edge. That's where the cool heel started, man. You're gonna go back to '96. That's where the game of the heel changed.
Yeah, dude. Well, and unfortunately for Steen, like he did it better than Steen does. Steen's doing all these fucking babyface spots as a heel, and you got Tyler Black bleeding like a stuck pig.
He's gushing, eh?
No one's selling the fact though that his face is busted open right now.
Steen's showing it off right now. I got to disagree with you on this one, buddy. Steen is goating. I just did that to him. He's punching him in the face. It's a little bit more slow, methodical. I'm going to devil advocate you on this one because I am a fan of both these guys. I'm not a huge fan of the Monday Night Messiah thing that he's doing, but I think from an in-ring standpoint, Seth Rollins has been one of the better guys in the company, at least for sure. And I won't say the whole wrestling world because I think there's better than him in the wrestling world. But I think his in-ring work has been really good in the last probably 5 years.
Counterpoint to everything you just said. Kevin Steen just played to the audience and then rubbed Tyler Black's blood on his face. That is not a heel move. That's a babyface move.
You think rubbing blood on your face is a babyface move?
100%. It's wrestling. This is a violent.
I think it's sick and disgusting. Look at that.
No,
you're telling me that a good guy is going to do that? No, I'm calling you out on this one. I'm saying you're ridiculous. There's
a real heel wants to fucking build on that juice. He doesn't want to fucking go to the crowd. He doesn't want to worry about it. He wants to keep working the fucking face. It's not about showing off. A heel doesn't do that.
Okay, I get the showing off comment, but this guy just literally grabbed his blood and wiped it. What's the difference between that and when Brock Lesnar did that to Hulk Hogan?
The difference is Hulk Hogan or Brock Lesnar was being built as a monster babyface. That's the difference.
No, he was not. He was the heel. Brock Lesnar was the heel at that point.
When he crushed Hulk Hogan, what happened 2 months later?
Okay, that's 2 months later. That's 2 months later, though. That's the booking change.
I'm watching two middle of the pack fucking heel baby faces do work right now. There's nothing that makes me engaged on either guy winning or losing. Both guys are just bleeding. Hysterical.
Well, no, only one of them's bleeding. Steen's a sick bastard that is putting war paint on his face. That's like old school, like fucking sick fuck shit, man.
I don't know. I haven't seen anybody sit down and really wrench it. You know what? Skins, I'll give you some credit here. Steen's cinching in on a hold, so that's nice to see. This is heel action right now.
Here's what I'm going here, and I'm gonna play both of our cards here, okay, Blake? Because I agree with some of the points you're saying, and I disagree with some of them as well. I think you've got Steen is the heel here, and I think his actions are playing to that. You've got the babyface bleeding, sympathetic babyface right now. I get some of the Steen mannerisms.
Can you say he's a sympathetic babyface, though, Skins? Like, Steen's playing to the crowd every time he does something. He's trying to elicit a response for his heel actions towards the babyface. Like, he's trying to get the crowd behind him.
What's the difference?
Regular psychology.
And I want our listeners to go back and watch our watch along of Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega for a reference here. What's the difference when Chris Jericho plays to the crowd and what he's doing right now?
Because he's eliciting a negative response from the audience. He's punching bystanders while he's eliciting a vicious beatdown on the babyface. He's breaking the rules intentionally. Kevin Steen's just at this point is literally trying to get a babyface response for his heel activities. That's what's happening in this match.
See, I see it different. I do. I see this different. I see that he's. I don't know if it's the right way to work it, but I see that he's talking shit. Your boy is bleeding, and at this point, unfortunately, the Ring of Honor audience was turning on Tyler Black. So I bet you if we had the sound on, we would be getting a different story to this. Obviously, we're watching this without sound, so we can commentate over top of it.
The audience is turning, though, because Kevin Steen is trying to elicit the reaction of, I'm a fucking cool heel. He's trying to get a Stone Cold pop, but this is not a Stone Cold pop situation. This is a heel babyface match. This isn't the Attitude Era.
How about that for some foreshadowing with Papa Powerbomb, though?
Now he's throwing down a sharpshooter. This is a finishing hold. This should end the night for Seth.
I get what you're saying. I get it. I want to sidebar for a second here, Blake. I want to sidebar. And the last one we did, we talked about Red Shoes, the referee in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Tell me that Todd Sinclair, the referee in this match, is not living every one of our dream right now. He's just a fat referee, and he's really good at what he does. But fuck, man, if I could be anybody in the wrestling world, I want to be Todd Sinclair.
He's not adding to the match, though. This is like, if you look at the juxtaposition between the previous match that we just watched with Jericho and Omega and this match, it's night and day in terms of how engaged you are as a fan with the psychology of the match. This is literally just move after move after move after move, and the referee is not even a factor.
It's a different story for sure, and this is the era of the new generation of wrestling. It evolved.
We just saw a sharpshooter get shut down within 3 seconds of application. That is literally one of the greatest wrestlers in the world finishing maneuver. It was finished in like 8 seconds. Tyler Black got to the rope.
What's the difference between that and when Cesaro does it as a transitional move, though? Everybody uses it as a traditional move now.
I'm not saying that that's good either. Like this is exciting. It's cool. We just saw a springboard fucking shooting star press 16 minutes into the match, and it was a 1.5 count.
I get what you're saying. Listen, I cannot fully disagree with you on what you're saying from a psychology standpoint, but I do have to disagree with you when it comes to a talent standpoint. I think that both of these guys are a master of their craft, Blake. I think they're both fantastic in the ring. I think that they're both capable of being heel and babyface. Steen, I think, is much more effective as a heel than a babyface. I think that Seth Rollins, Tyler Black, though, he's shown that he can pull both off very well. That's a great move.
That's a great move. It looked vicious, but here's the problem, Skins, and you just said it. Both guys are great as a heel and a babyface. Guess what? For the last 10 years, no one can decipher whether they're a heel or a babyface.
But again, let me ask you a question, though, Blake. Is that their fault, or is that the company that's booking theirs fault? They don't get a say in that.
In this particular instance, Skins, I think ROH didn't have a lot of guardrails in terms of what they could do. They just let these two guys go out and have a fucking hell of a match. Let's not get this twisted. This is a phenomenal match. It's incredible to watch. The athletics are amazing. The stiffness is great. I'm not shitting on this match. It's a great match. But what isn't happening in this match is one guy deciphering what they are versus the other guy. I'm watching two fucking middle of the road heel / baby faces do moves against each other. That's what I'm watching.
Yeah, and you know what? And I want to argue with you, but I don't know enough about the background of where they are right now to really do that. You know what I mean? I know that Steen is about to go on a humongous heel run here. I know he is a heel here. I know Black's on his way out of the company. I just think with these guys, and you say over the last 10 years, there's only so much that they can do without being told what to do.
I don't think I think it's you just establish who you want to be, right? Like, so Steen, let's talk about that a little bit more. Steen really establishes himself as a fucking nasty heel after this. And like his promos indicate that, his in-ring work, not the best in terms of being a heel, but at least he's bringing people in the crowd, bringing people from the audience in as I'm the fucking heel that you want to see his ass kicked. Tyler Black, if the whole thing here is that this is a blow-off, Kevin Steen has done every finishing move in wrestling history to him in the last 19 minutes. And he's the babyface in the match.
I get what you're saying. Let me ask you a little bit of a more broad question in here, Blake. What's your opinion on Ring of Honor as a whole?
There's incarnations of Ring of Honor that I love, like the Briscoes. Give me the Briscoes all fucking day, every day. The Briscoes are a great example of independent wrestling in Ring of Honor, where those guys don't compromise what they are. They fucking, it's, you know what the fucking Briscoes are, because that's what they fucking show you on television. The rest of these guys want to be cool. And I will go back to Generico is actually probably the best example of white meat babyface in ROH that made the turn and did it in a pretty good way in ROH. Danielson, when he was there, I thought he was really, really good.
And his world title run, I will put against anybody in the history of professional wrestling.
Thank you for saying it. And that's what got him noticed, right? Like that, as a guy who didn't watch a lot of indies, I knew who fucking the American Dragon was. And I watched
Go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Well, even like let's look at Colt Cabana and CM Punk. I remember you specifically being like, Blaker, you got to see this CM Punk guy. And I remember watching it and being like, holy fucking shit, this is a fucking old school. Like, there was no question about what CM Punk was in ROH. It was very clear what his role was. This is a different incarnation of ROH where you had a bunch of in-betweeners being in-betweeners.
I got two things I want to say here. The first thing, I just want to go back to Bryan Danielson real quick. Holy shit, what are they doing here? Let's just watch this. Oh my God, through a table. That was fucking a 6 spot. Great spot.
Tyler Black just put fucking the biggest heel in the company through a table with chairs and a stomp. Like, that should be eliciting a absolute you should die response.
No, I get you, but it looks like, I guarantee if we turn the volume up here, this crowd's losing their mind, man. Like, I guarantee it, right?
Yeah, but Steen's gonna come back and do another finisher. I guarantee it. Maybe a rock bottom. Might be something else.
He's gonna hit the people's elbow.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a rock bottom from Kevin Steen at this point in his career, because he was doing it pretty regularly.
What I wanted to say, just when you talked about Bryan Danielson's title reign, I don't know how much of it you got to see personally, Blake, but he used to do this great spot where he was a heel and he would have a submission move on and he would hold it, and the guy would get to the ropes and he would do the 1, 2, 3, 4, and he would break it and look at, I have till 5, referee. I just thought that was such a great spot.
That's a guy who knows, like, think of King Kong Bundy, who used to sit guys down for the 5 count. Why? Because he's a fucking heel. And he's massive.
You mentioned the name, and I just want to touch on this quickly because I know that the match is coming to an end here. You mentioned the name CM Punk. I see a lot of similarities in CM Punk's heel work and Kevin Steen's heel work. I think that Steen was inspired a lot by Punk.
I honestly, I don't see it. And I don't see it because of the way Punk went out from ROH. Punk assumed like a Mick. Remember when Mick left ECW and left it like, I'm not going to do any hardcore stuff and I'm going to do catch as catch can wrestling? Like, CM Punk clearly is a student of the game and watched it and was like, I'm going to sign a WWE deal and I'm going to wrestle like a WWE guy. And that to me was the point where he got me in ROH. I'm like, fuck, this guy's incorporating real life shit into his program, but he's also working it like a fucking heel. Because in ROH, all these guys were going to WWE anyway. He played the angle perfectly and he didn't change anything. CM Punk wasn't the most spectacular wrestler. His psychology was unbelievable.
He signed his WWE contract in the middle of a Ring of Honor ring on top of the Ring of Honor World Championship.
I bet you if there's probably shooting interviews that exist now, like, Punk probably wishes he never left the company. Like, he could have carried the torch as the heel in ROH with that angle for fucking 5 years. But man, this stuff happened after Punk left. And it was just a different generation of guys that didn't understand. They didn't have to wrestle in front of small crowds regionally. These are guys that were signed to ROH and showed up for weekly TV. That's what they did.
What the fuck is going on here?
Look at this spot. This is the heel. Skinny. This is the heel.
I get it.
The heel just turned, like, I don't get. Oh, now we got another sharpshooter. Great. Great.
Okay, now maybe, what do you think? Are we going to get a finish here? Yeah. He's got the bloody Austin face. Are we going to get a throwback?
Sharpshooter already failed in this match, so if it hits, then it makes Steen look like an absolute pussy. Oh,
he did cinch it in, though.
Get up! He saw Stone Cold. Oh, we got it!
He did tap to the sharpshooter. Blake, I want to argue with you more about this, but I don't think this was the right match to choose to do it. I think some of your points are pretty valid in here, buddy.
I like, there's matches for both of those guys that I've watched that I love, but I think in the grand scheme of both guys, they spend too much time trying to be a cool villain or a cool babyface. Like you got to be one or the other. Set your hat somewhere and fucking be. Look at the psychology of guys like FTR. They're not trying to be cool they're cool heels. They're trying to be fucking heel tag team guys, and they do heel as shit, and they wrestle slow, and they, pardon my burp, but they use holds. They do things that aren't eliciting a response from the audience, because baby faces get responses from the audience, not heels. Heels don't get fucking pops during their match. That's not fucking part of the heel psychology.
I gotta say, Blake, I was really hoping that I was gonna get the one up here on you. I thought I had you, but your points after watching this match, I can't disagree with a lot of them, man. I don't think this is the best work that either one of these guys have done. However, I am a believer in Steen. I am a believer in Owens, and in Rollins as well. I do think that they are upper echelon talent right now, but I think they're being booked real poorly, and I think it's hurting them a lot. How many times has Owens been babyface heel? You said it, man. You can't
more
book
turns than NASCAR,
right? Good throwback. Blake,
more turns in NASCAR for Kevin Owens. Honest, I swear to you, I think he's the best talent that the WWF has. I think he could be the biggest thing in wrestling. And he started doing it a little bit when he was doing the, like, fuck everybody, fuck Shane McMahon, I'm going to do whatever I want, start stunning everybody. I loved that. Then all of a sudden, the stunner's not his finish. The stunner's just his thing that he does when he goes out and he wants to get a pop. Okay. Now all of a sudden he's not actually doing, like, he's not doing full babyface stuff. He's doing kind of half stuff where and I think you're right. I don't think it's Steen or Owens. I think it's the booking in WWF is fucking the worst. But I think Kevin Owens has enough of a voice that if he wanted to do something, and same with Seth Rollins, if he wanted to do something, they could fucking do it. I just don't think either of them have a set of nuts to fucking go out there and say, I'm gonna this Monday Night Messiah thing. Skins, do you really believe in it?
Like, I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. I will say, though, I do think that Owens has enough nuts to stand up for himself. He's been very, very vocal about the whole COVID thing. I think he's stepping up into and again, it's what you read on the sheets, like we've talked about before, but I think he's stepping up in that leadership role. I don't think he really gives a fuck if Vince fires him or not. I think he just wants to do what he wants to do.
I think he knows that if he gets fired, he'll go to AEW and get a pretty good deal and get creative freedom to do. That's the great thing about, and fuck, we're both sitting here and AEW is probably on TV, but the best thing about AEW is that is the Ellis Island for anybody who's fucking creative and wants to call their own fucking angles and have a voice. Those guys are getting a shot in AEW to actually do some good shit.
I'm going to put a bow on this on one last point. I want to take your I want to get your take on it. And I'm just going to put a statement out there, react to it, okay? AEW needs to be careful that they don't become the next Impact Wrestling in a sense where they just scoop up all these WWE rejects, though, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder, I don't give a fuck if he's on AEW. You know, someone like Kevin Owens, I get it, man. Sign that guy, he will change your company. But, you know, you're taking all these mid-card failures, and I'm quotating Mark here for only Blake to see as we're recording this, but, you know, your Brody Lees, your FTRs. Like, all these guys are great talent, but they were portrayed as not being able to do it in the Fed. And you just got to be careful about how many of those guys you want to take in and brand as your own.
I would hope, here's my hope for AEW. I hope that Cody and the guys that are calling the shots there aren't fucking giving all their buddies the rub. What I'm seeing is like a 50-50 split. So if you look at FTR, I think they've been booked perfectly. I think they are building FTR. FTR, in my opinion, we maybe can get into the Brain Busters at some point. They're the fucking modern Brain Busters. They should have the belts they could have them for fucking 2 years. I'd be happy to watch it.
You're hearing the rumors of a new horseman, right?
Well, dude, and the angle that they're playing with that is money. Now, on the counter side of your argument, Matt Cardona, that's Cody's fucking buddy, comes in for a shot. And let's be fair here. What's your thought on Dolph Ziggler?
On who? Dolph Ziggler?
Tell me about Dolph Ziggler.
I want to say he's the most underutilized talent of all time, but I don't think he's the guy that's you build your company around either, man. So I just think he's just the middle of the pack. I think they could book him better, but I don't think he's the guy you strap the rocket to either.
I think that he has been, and Matt Cardona in the same sentence, has been given enough opportunities to shine in prime time and flounder every single time they do it. So there's no purpose of bringing in a Matt Cardona, bringing in a Brody Lee. I like the angle when they brought him in, and Brody Lee's essentially killed it. Like, he's just not good enough at drawing a crowd and eliciting a response. He needs that fucking smoke and mirrors. It's very clear.
I might disagree with you on Dolph a little bit. I really think that Dolph could have been a guy that they could have put in at least a Seth Rollins position. I just think his in-ring and his promo work is strong enough. I just think that he's a victim of really poor booking and poor timing.
You think his promo work is good?
Yeah, I do.
That is absolute lunacy in my mind.
No, man.
His promo work is god fucking awful.
Right now it is. But why does he give a fuck right now?
Even before, dude, this guy's been given the brass ring like 6 or 7 times. He's been in
He hasn't though. He's
been in the main event program in the last 15 years. He's been in the main event program like 6 times, and none of it's gone.
He is the guy that you put in to get a good match that nobody will believe is going to win it, because that's how they booked him, Blake.
If I want to watch a second-rate Shawn Michaels do Shawn Michaels moveset and try and like cut Shawn Michaels promos, I'll just go to the WWE Network and watch old Shawn Michaels footage. Like, this guy is
disagreeing with you, buddy. I think Dolph Ziggler could have been something. I think they pulled the rug out of him multiple times when they should have got behind him a little bit. I don't think he's the guy, though, that you can build your company around either. Don't mistake me here, Blake. I'm not trying to say that he should be the guy. I'm just saying I think they could have got more out of Dolph. I think they could have got a better world title run out of him. When he cashed in that Money in the Bank contract, Blake, tell me that's not one of the biggest moments in Monday Night Raw history.
Unreal pop. That pop happens because it's the night after WrestleMania.
Okay, with your most educated fans in attendance.
Yeah, guess what? That's like 40% of your audience.
I get it, but if you're telling me though that if you don't give him better booking after that 40% can't grow to 60%.
So Skins,
I think he could have been a Dean Ambrose. I think he should have been where Ambrose is.
Who's the guy that gave to Kofi after he got the belt?
Who's the guy that what? Sorry.
Who did they give to Kofi after he got the belt?
Who did they give to Kofi? Dolph.
Yeah. Why? And why? Because
he's a fucking solid in-ring talent that can cut great promos. That is a great hand for the company.
And guess what happened? Nothing.
Did you think for a second that Dolph Ziggler would win that match?